Welcome to Fire Breathing Kittens, an actual play podcast. Every episode micro-plot is a complete adventure with a beginning and an end that fits into the overarching macro-plot of the whole season. Because they stand sturdily on their own, you can listen to these adventures in any order and can skip any you don't enjoy. Today, we are playing using the combat mechanics from a game called Behold The Holy Grail. It's our first time playing, so we might make some mistakes. If you enjoy these mechanics, you can find Behold the Holy Grail on itch.io. Build your own Behold the Holy Grail character and play a game with friends. Speaking of friends, today we are joined by Sir Barnabas Feltster.
Greetings, it is me, Sir Barnabas. I am an animated cloth golem of dubious origins and noble intentions. Me and my faithful steed, Lance, are imbued with glorious purpose and are excited to play.
What are your stats for Behold the Holy Grail?
Oh, yes. My stats are a 7 in strength and a 13 in virtue. And Lance's stats, because he is fulfilling the mechanic of a steed, he has 13 strength and 7 virtue.
Fantastic. Professor Tinkerton Shelton.
Yes, greetings. I am Professor Tinkerton Tink Shelton, turtle folk scholar, artificer, and translator of languages. Of course, and at 84 years old and 4'11.5, very proud of that 5, I am old but academically mature, and I have devoted my life to proving that language is not merely spoken, it is discovered. And my stats are 10 in strength, and 10 in virtue, of course.
Very balanced, very wise. Arthur 331.
Hello. As previously stated, I am Arthur 331, an android. Previously, I was a hunter-slayer. As time went on, I gained my own sentience and decided to retire from that profession. I now seek to understand more about life, people, humour, and endeavour to experience the feelings people feel. My stats are strength of 12 and virtue of 8.
And lastly, Varek Ashen.
Hey, I'm a changeling with black hair, golden eyes, and light gray skin. And I'm an assassin that is out of the game for now. And my stats are the strength is 14 and my virtue is 6.
That makes sense for an assassin. Before we start the adventure, we'll first summarize the mechanics of Behold the Holy Grail.
In this game, players take the role of a Knight of the Round Table. Your friend and mentor, who reminds you of King Arthur, has recognized your strength and virtue and authorized you to embark on a holy quest. To see your strength and virtue will indeed be tested and taken as you quest. When you encounter danger or attempt difficult feats, the Game Master will call for a roll of a 20-sided die. A roll tests one of your 2 stats, either strength or virtue. Strength represents your knightly physique, dexterity, combat skill, stamina, those things. Virtue represents your knightly bravery, cunning, temperance, chastity, and other such virtues. When you roll, if the d20 shows equal to or less than your relevant stat number, you will succeed free of charge. But should you roll too high, you will succeed, but at a cost.
And when you succeed at a cost, the cost is one of your stat points. When you spend a stat point, it's permanently gone. The cost doesn't have to be the stat you rolled. So if you fail a strength roll, you may spend a point of virtue to succeed, and vice versa. Take care, if your strength drops to 0, your knight will die, and dying ends your quest. If your virtue drops to 0, you'll abandon the path of a knight for a life of debauchery. That also ends your quest. But fear not, if you're in dire straits, meaning one of your stats is at 1 or lower, your fellow knights will have the chance to give you their own strength or virtue before you die or stray. Any knight may give away that stat points to any character in dire straits.
A die roll does not typically determine success versus failure, but whether or not the knight must pay a cost to continue. Rolls of the D20 will become riskier and higher stakes as the game goes on, so be mindful of the pace and timing of rolls, and creatively represent the narrative consequences of the toll the knight's journey will take on them. To create your character, name your knight and give them a brief backstory. Write the name on the character sheet below. You'll begin the quest with a total stat of 20. Cross off points from your sheet until your knight's remaining strength and virtue sum to 20. Each stat may be no higher than 15.
Steeds. Should you wish to lessen the difficulty of your quest or to expand a small party, you may include steeds in your game. A steed is an enchanter, like the wizard Merlin, the Lady of the Lake Vivienne, or the witch Morgan Le Fay, who has chosen to take on a new form, like that of a dragon, a horse, a tiger, or an elephant, and serves alongside a knight of the Round Table as a rideable companion. A steed retains the power of speech, has their own character sheet, and may spend their stat points as though they were a knight.
Because this is a game that has the steed mechanic, can we know some out of character, just like a little nugget of information that this is out of character, the characters don't know this? Tell us a tiny bit about Lance, just a little.
There at the last session, there was a bit of a reveal that it sure seems like Sir Barnabas's companion Lance has some connection to the late Sir Sebastian de Paynes, who was the last one to wield Lance. Lance, a holy relic formerly known as Vide Guardian's Mercy, was the knightly spear that Sir Sebastian wielded. One day, Sir Barnabas and Lance showed up back at the temple, absent Sir Sebastian, but it sure seems like perhaps the spirit of Sir Sebastian lives on in Lance.
Thus explaining why this stick with a pokey thing at the end and googly eyes on it has as many stats as you players. All right, the four of you are standing in the rain at sunset. The rain pitter-patters into the water of a moat, which rings around a castle. The tall stone castle walls rise up into the darkening sky, which transitions from red sunset at one horizon to cloudy night. As you raise your head to look up the torch-lit stone castle wall, cold raindrops hit your face. Varek, Arthur, and Barnabas, your fellow fire-breathing kitten Tink, asked you to come here. He gathered everyone in the guild hall who was there and guided you all here because of what is written in the letter he's holding in his hand.
Aha! I have a letter, and the letter says we must go on an adventure. So,
I have the letter. Would you like to hear the letter?
Yes! Yes, of course.
Tink reads this letter in his hand. The letter says, "To my friend and colleague, Professor Tinkerton Shelton, I am writing to you with a shaking hand. Please forgive the illegibility of these letters. I am afraid, deeply, deeply afraid. The sabbatical to research the artifact at Madrigal Castle that I had been telling you so excitedly about has turned into a nightmare. You are a fire-breathing kitten adventurer now. Please gather your friends and come help. There's something terribly wrong here. When the werewolf continued to claim victims, I wrote to the Temple of Vigardien asking them to send a holy investigator. Now, after the investigator's disappearance, during the day even, I fear to leave my room. Please help. I'm scared. People are dying. I don't know who to trust. Signed, Professor Graymore, who Tink you recognize as a colleague that you worked with who was happy to go on a sabbatical to Madrigal Castle to research an ancient artifact they thought they would find there.
Yes, I do remember Professor Graymore. And this castle must be the place where this artifact is being held, so we must check it out. What do you all think? Shall we go forth?
So just for clarification, GM, we are the castle that we are standing in front of. This is Madrigal Castle.
Yes.
If a member of the Guardians Knights has fallen to this werewolf, we must be extra guardful against threats.
And Barnabas kind of like hops into a low crouch and like does a little like kind of hop and scuttle around and keeping an eye out for things.
And Tink is going to look around and start, looking at all the different places in the castle, like where could this artifact be buried? Because as you know, Tink just wants to dig and dig and dig and see if I can find something interesting. And I'm going to agree with you there, sir, that we must be careful of the werewolves.
I would be very interested to encounter werewolves. I've never met one before. I would like to see if they can try and take a bite out of me.
Oh.
You want them to take a bite out of you?
Well, I would like to see them try, shall we say. Being mostly made of metal, I would imagine it's quite impossible, but, this is what travelling and experiments are for.
The young man has got a point there. Or do you actually have an age being made of metal and all?
I'm not aware of how old I am. I know I am very obsolete in terms of my model. There are more dangerous assassin robots in this world and universe at the moment, but I do believe it's at least 200 years.
Young. Very, very young.
Barnabas is going to go up to the door of the castle and take the butt of
there's
Lance.
A moat. You're standing at
there's
a
a
moat.
moat.
So let's describe your situation. You all are standing on muddy grass. In front of you is a moat, and a drawbridge is in the stone wall, totally vertical. This is a challenge. You will interact with your surroundings by rolling.
Aha. All right.
Sir Barnabas is going to call out, assuming that there's someone maybe staffing this, and say,
Hello there! Let down your door in the name of the Guardian. We are here to lend aid to your community.
Make a roll.
I'm going to make a virtue roll, because I'm trying to persuade, and that seems like a thing. My 12 just gets under my 13.
The person hears you, and they call back out, V-Guardian! We already had a V-Guardian person come. Every one of you is going to have to make a roll, by the way, just to prepare you. So we're taking in turn order. Barnabas just went. Next up is...
Is it... Should Tink take a roll? All right. Is that... And we're doing a roll... It's D20, correct? Is it... And it's just one? 13 is what I've rolled.
Did you use your strength or your virtue?
I'm going to use strength, as it looks like perhaps this turtle may have to climb a wall or push it in or something. Or touch the wall.
Because your number is 10 and your dice roll was 13, you're going to subtract 1 from either strength or virtue as you describe what you're doing. So which one did you subtract from?
I subtracted from virtue. Let's subtract from virtue. So then I'll have a 9.
Excellent. And role play so that you accomplish what you're attempting to do, but describe what happens. So how does your virtue suffer? Oh, did you get muddy? Oh.
Yes, I got very muddy as I attempt to push on these walls looking for some sort of secret exit if there is one. Or
a
a
moat
hole in
is
a
a
wall.
water-filled trench between you and the castle wall. So there's
okay.
a moat between
so
you and the castle wall.
Oh, I see. Okay, I understand it now. I'm so sorry. So I'm going through this moat and I just sort of fall through and try to crawl and I'm completely covered in mud and I don't like it. I'm wiping off my monocle, but am I able to make it to the other side of the moat, to the wall. And that's where I've gotten to.
Yes, you are standing at the castle wall, and you are waist deep in this moat, and you discover that they have been using it as a latrine.
Oh, dear. This is not what I expected. And Tink is just going to kind of wipe himself off and go, interesting.
But you are at the wall.
But I'm at the wall. I made it to the wall.
Who's next?
I believe it's me. I rolled a 17.
That is higher probably because your starting stats are 15 maximum. So which did you subtract from, and what are your new numbers?
I'm going to subtract from my strength. So that brings it down to a 13.
Role play what you did. So far we've had someone call out back from the castle, Vigardien. People from Vigardien already came here, and we have Tink standing at the castle stone wall, perhaps able to find a secret entrance. Who knows? What do you do?
So Varek tries to run and jump across the moat, but fails spectacularly. And as he jumps, he hits the other side of the bank and has a giant bruise on his abdomen.
Yes, there is no bank. It is a vertical castle wall, so that would explain the bruise. But you're clinging to it like a little spider.
Okay, so yeah, Varek overshot. He overshot what he thought he needed to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Arthur, what are you doing to get them to lower this drawbridge? Your friends have confirmed it is a stone wall on the other side of this moat.
I rolled a 3. So I've got 12 and 8 on strength and virtue, so take it that's a pass.
Yes, you always accomplish what you're trying to do in this game.
Yep.
The question is whether it costs you or not.
Yeah. Okay. So, as Arthur, I just drop into the moat, and walk. Luckily, I'm able to walk fast enough through the water not to sink into the mud at the moat. And as I come to the wall, I just start pulling myself up using my android strength and climb to the top of the wall of the castle.
Yes, you do. Well, that ends round 1. I didn't expect a round 2, but here we are. We've got Sir Barnabas standing upon the muddy bank. We've got a moat full of water and other. We've got Tink standing at the stone. We've got Varek clinging to the stone like a spider. We've got Arthur standing atop the crenellation. And we've got a person calling from the inside. What? Vigardien? They already sent someone. Take it away for round 2, Barnabas.
Yeah, I heard you already have one, but now you've got another one. We heard from Professor Greymore that you might have lost the first one, and so now I'm here at the bequest of Greymore. Greymore reached out to the fire-breathing kittens. We're here. We hear you got a problem, and if you don't let down the door, we're probably just going to climb the wall anyway.
And then I will roll further virtue, trying to convince them that it's in their best interest, and get an 11, which is succeeding with no cost.
You succeed with no cost. They are convinced that you will come in anyway, as your spider friend, turtle burrowing friend, and crenellation standing android are backing up your claim. And they lower the drawbridge. A woman in a maid outfit waits at the base of the drawbridge on the castle side of the moat. She curtsies and turns, gesturing for you all to join her inside the stone hallway. Do you?
Yeah,
Yes.
Varek. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
After your show of strength, she seems very respectful of you. She starts to walk down the stone hallway. Following behind the maid, everyone roll virtue to see how much attention you're paying to your surroundings, and I'll tell each of you what you notice.
That's a 19 for Barnabas. We're not paying attention. Although I guess we're paying attention at a cost. So depending on what is about to take place, that'll inform what kind of the cost is. But I'm going to mark my virtue down 1 and go to 12.
Tink rolls 17, so clearly Tink isn't paying that much attention. And do I have to mark down the virtue, or can I choose strength for my?
You can choose virtue or strength to decrease by 1, and
All
it'll
right.
affect how you roleplay the situation.
I'm going to decrease my strength, so now I'm at 9 and 9, and Tink is just kind of walking around and ends up possibly even bumping into the woman for just a quick second and goes, excuse me, adjusts the monocle and takes a good look at her and just keeps, goofing off. What he does.
Varek rolled an 11.
Yeah, what's your virtue?
6. So I will be bumping down my strength another point.
Arthur rolled a natural 20. So possibly the water was seeped into his joints and is still sloshing around his head. Possibly bumping into walls inadvertently and not really knowing where he is, but just about able to follow everybody else. And I'll take a hit on virtue down to 7.
Yes, as you have invaded the castle and scaled it without invitation, you are seen as less virtuous. This makes sense. All right, so Tink, the ancient crenellation decorations at the top of the stone wall have carved images of musical instruments interspersed with writing. It's not the language of the present day, but an older dialect.
Aha. So is it like a full musical, like, is it on staff, or am I just looking at it in intervals? How is it set up?
You see a carved image of a lute, and you see writing that's an older dialect.
Do I have my language scroll with me?
Yes.
Haha.
Last session, you gained the Scroll of Shifting Tongues.
The Scroll of Shifting Tongues. I shall take it out and he just sort of reaches in his pocket and he unfolds the scroll, holds it up nearby and waits for things to shift.
The Scroll of Shifting Tongues. While it allows any written language to be understood by the reader, its incomplete magic causes meanings to shift based on the reader's perception. As a result, the scroll cannot be trusted to convey absolute truth, only interpretation. When you use the scroll to interpret the writing carved into the stone crenellation, the word has one of 2 meanings. It easily translates to invincible super strength, but another connotation is it could mean beaten to death in the head. You're not sure which meaning was the original intent.
So we have ourselves. So Tink is going to look back at the group and kind of explain to everybody what has happened, and says, "Well, we've got one of 2 ways out. We can be beaten to death, or maybe we'll find ourselves in super strength. I'm betting on super strength this go round, and perhaps we should all get prepared in case something else happens." And he's going to put the scroll back in his pocket for a second, and then, since it can be interpreted, maybe I should ask everyone else what are their thoughts about it, or shall we go forward? What do you all think? Super strength.
It does seem like there's a
death?
vast difference between the 2 meanings.
Yes.
Yeah, having recently gained sentience, I'm perhaps not very keen on the beaten to death option.
I do have a shovel.
Maybe we should ask the locals. Hey, miss, what's that? Do you know what that dialect up there says and translates to?
Make a roll to see if she likes you enough to say something.
If I hadn't decreased my virtue last time, that 13 would be great. So I'm going to decrease my strength. She kind of ignores me at first, but then I go and I kind of tug at her arm, and I'm like,
"Excuse me, miss. This might be important to what we're doing here. Could you let us know if you know what that means up there?"
She squints and goes, "Oh, there's writing up there. I haven't looked at that, and I've worked here for years. What's it say?" Squint. Does that say super strength or beaten to death in the head? I think super strength.
Right.
I say we listen to what she says.
Yeah. I'm thinking Tink would perhaps ask her, can Tink give her the scroll and let her figure it out as well? Will it work with her so we can be certain?
I think that's why
Okay.
she was able to interpret it in those two different ways, right? And then she leans
see.
towards super strength. Yeah, because without the
Okay.
scroll, it's like, well, that's a word I've never heard before.
Okay. Perfect. Super strength then.
Well, what's the worst that could happen?
For Arthur, Varek, and Barnabas, the walls are decorated with multiple statues and paintings that all depict the same man. He has red hair and a thin nose and is wearing a crown. Arthur, please roll virtue to check your memory.
5. My virtue is 7, so I think that's all great. Now, this fella seems a bit familiar. Does anybody else kind of recognize this fellow?
Oh, but you could never forget this fellow, because unfortunately, this is something you don't need any assistance recalling from your memory bank. Sometimes you have a bit too much information and it can be a bit hard to recall, but this is one of your core memories. This man's face is familiar because in the video chats that you as a killing machine have been part of for the past 200 years, that whole time a council has sat around the conference table. Their members have changed over the years, but the council has stayed the same as they pick their next strategic targets, discussing around the conference table. Thinking you mindless, they did not keep their discussions private from you. This man, shown in these portraits, sat on that council in your memory. He gave you orders. He decided who you killed.
Ah, I remember. This is one of the council that I've been looking for. How fortuitous that I may apprehend one of these miscreants.
That was 200 years ago, was it?
This is the more recent council. This guy is currently active. Over the past 200 years, people have been rotating through the council as they, died of old age. This guy, you saw him quite recently in the video chat.
I gained sentience before I left the council. So I was able to... This is one of the more recent people that I recollect. The lady that has just looked at the scroll, I'm going to talk to her and ask how this person's come to be painted in tapestries and murals on the castle. So I'm going to roll a virtue, try, and that's a 19. So I'm going to take one of my strength off. Because it's quite sudden shock, I'm quite agitated. So I grab her by the shoulders and go, "Who is this person? I know this person, but who is he to you in this castle?" I'm kind of almost slightly violently shaking her in apprehension.
The woman in the maid outfit's head flops forward and back as she is shaken. She seems entirely startled. Oh my goodness. And she goes, King Grosvenor. She's being shaken. 3 months ago, sadly, he passed.
Ah, seems my vengeance will have to wait for some of the other council.
Just out
How
of curiosity, how long have y'all been having problems with people disappearing recently?
Make a roll for your virtue. She is currently being shaken. It may be more difficult for her to hear your question.
I rolled a 5, so smoothed right under that one.
Role play how you're asking this maid a question. She's currently being shaken by Arthur.
Yeah. Leaning into the successful aspect of virtue, I think Barnabas will approach Arthur and kind of steady his arm, be like, steady on, man. This woman here had nothing to do with the king. Miss, could you tell us by chance how there's been some disappearances of late? When did that start up exactly?
She looks like she's trying to put herself back together. She's like, oh my gosh. And she says, the last 2 full moons.
I release my grip on her shoulders and say, I apologize. I was just shocked by what I've seen.
And then Tink has a question for the young lady as well. Shall I roll roll to make my question?
Yes.
All right. Oh, and I've rolled a 2. Fantastic. So the question is, what are people dying of? Or they're disappearing, and they're also dying. Is that it? Is there some sort of plague that is happening?
Oh, no. We just have the werewolf attacks.
Werewolves. And where have you seen... Oh, is that another question? Where have you seen them?
I'll count it as the same question. I've never seen a werewolf, but for the past 2 full moons, people have been found ripped apart.
Inside or outside the castle walls?
Inside.
Oh no! So it's possible that there are werewolves inside this dwelling with us right now.
Now she looks nervous.
Varek would like to ask her, how do we know you're not a werewolf?
Make a roll against your virtue.
He rolled a 9, and my virtue is a 6. So I will be taking another point off of strength.
But you succeed in your question. This game is interesting because you never fail. You just kind of die. You just keel over one day. So that is a very good question. How do you prove to these newcomers that you're not a werewolf? She says, would a person be aware if they were a werewolf?
I think it's in the name. I mean, it's like it's the first half. If you're gonna be a werewolf, then you're gonna be aware. It's the front half of it.
Oh, okay, then I am certain that I am not a werewolf.
Varek doesn't fully trust this person and her answer, but is willing to let it go.
She'll add, I also was very fond of the people who were killed by the werewolf. Pietro had proposed to me, my own fiancé, and Elvis, Chiara, and Zuana, dear friends all. My fellow servants.
Servants, you say? Can I ask who you are, what your status is in this castle?
She's wearing a maid outfit, and she says she's a maid, and I'm not going to make you roll for that.
Varek still doesn't trust her.
I was wondering, it seems there are a lot of deceased people in this castle recently. Is there anywhere you are keeping the bodies?
Yes, in the cemetery.
Have they been buried yet?
Yes.
Ah, interesting. Has anybody checked that they are still buried?
I visit Pietro's grave every week.
Is that a yes?
Yeah, and I'm going to have you roll because this was a lot of questions. And although I'm not sure you gained any information, you did ask a lot of questions. I'm going to say you can confirm that the bodies are in graves that do not have disturbed soil.
6. Just about under both. Yeah.
Well, you're making a roll against your virtue, so is a 6 under your virtue?
It is, yes. My virtue 7.
Good. No cost?
Yeah.
Yes, the graves have not been disturbed.
I imagine that we're kind of walking and talking as we have this mini interrogation with the maid. Are we progressing through the castle in any particular way, or is she taking us somewhere?
Where are you taking us, lady?
Oh, I am taking you to see the king.
I thought you said the king was dead 3 months ago. This story doesn't check out.
That was King Grosvenor. Go ahead and make a roll against your virtue.
8 on 12 means success with no cost.
As you ask, who is in charge now? Basically, right? That was your question?
Functionally, yeah.
King Emilio is in charge now, the king from an age yet to come. He came to us in our time of need from the future.
Interesting.
So, if he is that essentially makes him a time traveler, does it? Oh, is that the
I
question?
don't think it'll
Sorry.
cost you a roll for her to say yes. Because she did
Excellent.
just tell you that.
Yes. Huh. Time
When
traveler.
did King Emilio arrive?
There we go. That'll cost you a roll.
Yep. 4 is great.
A little over 2 months ago. After King Rossiner died 3 months ago.
Varek will turn to his mates here and will ask them, is there any chance that we're thinking that this new king perhaps is the werewolf?
Possibly.
It does seem there are an unusual set of circumstances, with one king dying and another one just. It would be weird enough if one just appeared out of nowhere. Never mind from the future, as well.
It all seems pretty convenient that people started dropping dead when this new one came along.
I wonder if the new king is also in charge of this artifact. Perhaps that is the portal into how he got here. But where did he get it?
Seems like we have some questions for this king. We
king?
better
Yes.
take a measure of him.
Exactly. Agreed.
Indeed. What exact evidence is there apart from he somehow travelled back in time?
Make a roll. Against your virtue.
Ooh, 13. I'll take a hit on the virtue this time, down to 6. So, I'm still quite agitated, so I quite like, what do you mean there's good evidence? Frustrating.
You are seen as an angry individual, one of the many sins that a person can have, and she's afraid of you, of your moral character, scary android man. And she says, quickly so as not to anger you, he has the sword from the stone, our same sword, but from the age yet to come.
And what does he do exactly with the sword? How does it function? Any differently from a regular sword? Does it have some sort of magical prowess?
Make a roll. Against your virtue.
I've rolled a 15, so I shall remove a number, yet again a number from. Let's do virtue is now down to 8. And Tink is just going to walk over to her as he asks that question, and he looks her up and down with the monocle. Tell me more about this magical sword and how it functions.
Well, you see, it's stuck in a stone, and the only one who can pull it out is the rightful king. When our rightful king died, we were very afraid because no one in the castle could pull the sword out of the stone, which means we were kingless. But then, thankfully, King Emilio showed up, and with the same sword from the future, it matches in every way. The gems on the hilt, the shininess of the silver, it is indeed the holy sword from the future.
So wait, so just to clarify a little bit here, so the King Grosvenor died, he had the sword, you put it back in the stone, that no one could take it back out, and then this other person, Emilio, comes, says he's from the future. He has a sword that appears similar, so there's one sword still in the stone, and then there's King Emilio's sword, which at least from like the blade up to hilt looks the same. Is that kind of tracking everything here?
Yes. And make a roll so I can give you a piece of useful information.
4.
All right. No cost. Yes. And everything seemed well for a while, which is all we could ask. And, you know, poor King Grosvenor, but at least he died peacefully in his sleep.
Not attacked.
Unfortunately.
Fortunately.
Yes.
And not
Yes.
attacked by a
Unfortunately for me.
werewolf.
Well, when we came to check on him one morning, he was unresponsive.
Perhaps he was poisoned.
There's so much going on.
Yeah. This whole thing stinks to me. This doesn't seem right.
Who was the one that checked on the king and declared him dead?
Why, that would be Pietro, my fiancé. The maid stops walking. She's standing inside a large room, a banquet hall. The huge tables are set with roast rabbits, swans, pies, fruit piles, wine bottles, stew still steaming, porridge, fish, cheese, pasta, bread. I could go on, but this smells amazing. It looks amazing. Have I mentioned how you guys traveled here and are probably hungry? A brown-haired man with a thick nose sits at the head of the table on a throne. He is wearing a crown. You recognize the crown from the paintings. The throne is next to a boulder. The boulder has the bejeweled hilt of a sword sticking up out of it. The crowned man has a seemingly identical sword on his lap, the same 3 jewels on its hilt. His face when he sees you is initially a scowl, but almost immediately he smiles widely. He stands up, the bejeweled sword swinging to his side on a belt, and his arms open wide. He shouts to the room, "Greetings, travelers! On a stormy night like tonight, how lucky you are to have come across our fair Castle Madrigal. Come, join the revelry. Exchange your news from the world for a night of feasting and merriment."
Interesting. And Tink is just kind of looking at everything. And Tink is just kind of looking back and forth at the, everything and sort of soaking it all up. What else is in the room that we haven't seen yet? So we see the feast, we see the king. Does he have any servants nearby? Things like that.
Yeah, many servants. And since you asked, also in the room is make a virtue roll to see how cunning you are.
19. So I shall remove a point from virtue once again. And now I'm 7 virtue, 9 strength. And yes, and I think it's going to continue exploring. What do I see?
Well, everyone makes this roll because I'm going to be giving you a piece of information, observation about the room. Let's see how cunning you are and if you can put this together.
I got an 11, which scoots under my 12.
I got a 12, which is higher than my 6.
I got a 4, which is below everything.
Okay, so Varek, which stat did you decrease?
I took another one off of the strength.
Everyone sees. You notice there is a lute, a flute, a wearable drum, and a harpsichord in the corner. No one is playing them. And the king has greeted you, so you may want to reply.
Yeah. Barnabas will take a step forward and say,
Greetings! I am Sir Barnabas T. Felster. This is my companion Lance. And he hoists up the spear and says, and these are my comrades, Professor Shelton, Arthur, and Varek. We are the fire-breathing kittens, and we are grateful for your hospitality.
And Tink is just going to use his monocle, adjust it, blink, and kind of nod. Yes, thank you for the invitation. Or, something like that.
Arthur looks at the whole spread of food and the king sitting on his own with it and just says, looks like it's good to be the king.
And Varek just gives him a cold stare.
He does a double take when he sees your cold stare, Varek, and he spends a bit too long looking at your face, but then goes back to Barnabas and Tink and says, My good adventurers, you may call me King Emilio or His Royal Highness. Come, eat what brings you to us tonight. Did someone from Castle Madrigal invite you here? And are you eating the food? Are you sitting down?
Varek will sit down and eat the food. He never turns down free food.
Barnabas will have a seat and make a plate, but does not actually eat food as a cloth golem, and so will just kind of like take things that look and smell pleasant and make and then like move it around his plate a little bit.
Tink is going to have a seat and makes a plate full of piles it high with lots of celery and other vegetables and things like that, and then he looks toward the king and looks back at the table. I'm searching for pickles, and then takes a seat, and you can see him just kind of puts like one stalk of celery in his coat pocket for safekeeping later.
Arthur doesn't eat, but says to the king, I do apologize. I am not able to ingest food, but I would like to sit and discourse with you if that would be desirable.
Absolutely. Arthur, was it? What brings you to us tonight? Did someone from Castle Madrigal invite you here?
We received a message indicating that there had been some trouble at this castle recently and thought it best to assist in resolving the matter.
Oh, a message? From whom?
What
did it say?
The message was sent in confidence to a colleague of mine, so I hope you understand as a king and honourable man, we may not divulge that information.
Of course, of course. What did the message say?
The message said that there were werewolves at, I was going to say abroad in the area, but we're in a castle, so they're not quite abroad, are they? I'd say that the message was that people have been dying, that the people in the castle are afraid.
It's very good that you've come investigate to this horrible werewolf problem. Hopefully, you and I can work together and we can resolve this for the people.
I would say there was also some things I've noticed that were quite surprising for me. How much were you aware of the previous king of this castle?
Sadly, we never met. But I hear he was a great man.
He may have been involved in some enterprises prior to being the king of the castle, so I would be quite interested to find out more about him.
And I as well. Perhaps we shall hear stories from those who knew him. And he invites the servants all around to tell you lots of stupid stories about what food he liked best and how he liked being woken up at this time of day and his socks darned and other things that, Arthur, as an android, you're just like, I don't care at all about these details.
I don't care at all about these details, I say to them.
Oh, you're learning so much about the human condition. Okay, a servant carries hot soup out to serve you all, fresh from the kitchen. The server trips, stumbles. The hot soup is on a trajectory to spill onto King Emilio's lap. He pushes his arms off the throne's sides, raises his legs over his head, and backflips over the throne's back, quicker than a cat, completely exiting the chair and standing behind it. The servant looks aghast. King Emilio, your royal highness, I am so sorry. King Emilio dusts his arm off, smiles charmingly, and says, No harm, no foul, my friend. Another servant brings a replacement cushion and he sits back down. And with that, we are going to leave you all feasting in this banquet, thinking about the things that you've learned about Castle Madrigal. Joining us for part 1 were Varek.
Yep. Had fun. Looking forward to part 2.
Arthur.
Very illuminating first part. I'm very interested to see what happens next.
Sir Barnabas.
I need to find out who it was that came previously from Temple V. Guardian.
And Tink.
Excellent, excellent. I really want to know how on earth is he so skilled at backflipping as quick as a cat?
That's the question. Join us for part 2 where we'll find out.
Leave us a review on iTunes and we'll read it on air.
Goodbye.
It's the mid-episode break. Did you know we don't pay to advertise this show? So the only way we can grow is if you tell someone about us. Is there someone you know who would smile at this episode? Sharing it with them would help us. Thank you.
Today's mid-episode shoutout is, quote, Top in Lumen Innovator, Sven. Your groundbreaking ideas and inventions are shaping the future, and I'm excited to see what you'll do next, end quote. Is there an episode of Fire-Breathing Kittens that would make someone you know smile? Telling them about it would help us. Thank you.
Welcome back to Fire-Breathing Kittens as we play Behold The Holy Grail. Joining us again are Varek.
Glad to be back.
Arthur.
A pleasure to speak with you again.
Tink.
So great to be here.
And Barnabas.
Greeting once again! And just in case you needed a recap of all the exciting things from part 1, our story opened as the fire-breathing kittens gathered in the rainy sunset in front of the Castle Madrigal. They didn't want to open the door for us, so we had to kind of figure that out. Some of us were jumping in the moat, some of us were climbing the walls, other of us were talking to the gate guard. Eventually, we got that door down, we all got inside and started marching along. And there when we were talking to the maid, we had earlier heard from Professor Shelton about the letter from Professor Greymore, who said, werewolves at Castle Madrigal, you gotta come help us. We also heard that there was a former, well, not former as in no longer part of the temple, but former as in previously living and now possibly no longer living member of the Temple of Vigardien who had been here to help. So we got to find out about that too. As we were walking along and asking the maid questions, we got a little bit of the down low. We found out that the former King Grosvenor had died 3 months ago. Coincidentally, just before they started losing people to werewolf attacks. Just after the death of King Grosvenor, but just before the werewolf attacks, someone named Emilio came from the future with some form of the sword and the stone, perhaps a magical replacement, perhaps the one from the future brought back. It's hard to tell. We haven't investigated that yet, but he became the king, apparent. And then the werewolf attacks started happening. And so we were finding out these things from the maid. We found out that there's some strange ancient script that may correspond to some different sculptures and seems to relate to either superhuman strength or getting beaten to death. Probably going to be important to find out which of those two it is. But so we found out these details and found out about a few of the people who have died, Pietro, the maid's fiance, some of the other servants. And as we made our way through the castle, we came to the banquet hall. There was a great spread of many delicious treats and delectables laid out for us. King Emilio sitting on the throne. There, next to him, the stone with the sword, presumably in its scabbard, his own sword that looked very similar. He invited us to partake of the meal in exchange for news of the outside world and began to ask us questions about what brought us here. He seemed very interested in finding out who it was that had reached out to us and brought us here. Is that suspicious? Who can say? We did take note that, like the sculptures in the hallway along the crenellations, where we had seen the carved lute, that there were instruments in the banquet hall, a lute, a flute, a hand drum, and a harpsichord. No one there playing them, though, so maybe people don't like music. We'll find out. So there's some instruments there, those that might be important. We also found out, and I did not say, that King Grosvenor has a tie to Arthur, that there may have been evil machinations. Does that make Grosvenor a more likely suspect or not? We can only tell by pursuing to the events of part 2! Oh, and there was this whole thing with, like, hot soup, where they were gonna bring out some soup from the kitchen, and they brought it out, and then they tripped, and they were almost about to spill it on King Emilio, and then he did this amazing backflip reflex thing. So maybe that's suspicious, too.
That's wonderful. Excellent recap. It is getting late, and you all are very full and sleepy. What do you do? Everyone's partying. It's that time in the party when you've had enough party and the party's still happening.
I would like to ask what the identity of the previous member of V-Guardian's temple that was out here.
Who are you asking?
I will ask the king, since he's talking to us and we're exchanging in conversation.
Please hold as I note that you have asked this.
And I'll roll for my virtue right away. And got a nat 1.
The best roll in the game. Okay, that does change things in the game, so I have noted that you asked that question. And the king answers, why, the investigator's name was Sir Crink. Sir Crink came to assist with the werewolf attacks, investigating them. Although I have not seen Sir Crink for almost a week now. I assumed that he had left to get reinforcements. Did Sir Crink get you from the Temple of V-Guardian? You seem quite holy looking.
Thank you. No, I did not, in fact, run into Sir Crank. I come here via the fire-breathing kittens, but you may rest assured that I shall stand in place of the representation of the Temple of V-Guardian, and soon this werewolf problem will be no more.
I really appreciate that. And who was it from Castle Madrigal who involved the fire-breathing kittens?
Barnabas will look first to Arthur, then to Professor Shelton, then so that way everyone is included, to Varek, and say, as we previously said, we are loath to reveal that information until it becomes absolutely pertinent to the investigation at hand.
Oh, of course. Don't know who you can trust nowadays. Am I right? Have some pheasant or some swan.
Out of curiosity, what is the ratio of like meat products to non-meat products at the table, and how rare are some of the dishes prepared?
That's a good question. I feel like some people would really know the answer to that question very well for what's typical for like feasts. But I'm going to go with the flurry and rotation of dishes from the kitchen and kitchen staff members makes you feel like there's no end, and anything you requested you could get. Hot dish after another. As the dishes become gnawed upon, they get returned by servant staff to the kitchen. It's quite the feast.
Mother Hildegard makes a lovely hot dish.
Oh, is that one of the people that you know at the fire-breathing kittens?
No, it's one of the people that I know at the Temple of V-Guardian. We have potlucks, and she's well known for her hot dishes.
Wonderful. We'll have to invite her to share her recipes with our kitchen chefs.
And then Tink is gonna step in and say, well, yes, speaking of hot dishes, I'm wondering about this Mr. Sir Crink. Did he have any hot soup before disappearing, or perhaps did he play an instrument such as the lute or the harpsichord? As I notice, you have many servants, but you have no musicians. Is there a reason for this?
I'm afraid we have no one to play those instruments. Do you play? Would you like to? The king, who is the person who you asked that question to, I assume, right?
Yes.
Or did you ask a staff? You asked the king.
I was asking the king.
Excellent. The king invites you to play an instrument.
All right. So Tink steps up to, he's going to pick the harpsichord and begins to tinker around with the harpsichord. See what I did there? Okay. Gets to tinker around with the harpsichord and plays a similar melody that he'd heard while excavating or digging through tunnels to move up a stairwell before. So it's like, dun, 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 it's when he starts to play.
Yeah, everyone is very entertained. Mabel, the maid from earlier, puts a tissue to the corner of her eye and wipes away a small sniffle, small tear.
Huh. noticing that it's tugging at her heartstrings. And Tink stops and wants to ask her a question. Perhaps you've lost someone recently that this melody reminds you of. Are they buried in the cemetery?
Please make a roll for virtue.
6. Yes. And that is lower than my 7 or 9. So Tink
You were testing virtue.
Virtue, yes. So...
Yes. She says, yes, my Pietro played the harpsichord.
Pietro. Is it the same Pietro as... I forget the name of our lady that we met before, but is it the same Pietro from before?
You're talking to the maid from earlier?
Oh, this is the maid.
Mabel?
I thought you... Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I
You
heard
never
a
asked
different
her
name. Okay. Your Pietro also did things too. Huh. Very interesting. Tink is just going to make a note of that somewhere.
As Tink is coming back from the instruments, so that way I can get up from the table and a little bit more subtly than in the direct line of sight of the king, would like to ask Tink, you mentioned in that letter that you received Professor Graymore. Are they present here at the banquet?
Tink is going to look around and see. Are they present?
They are not.
They are not. They're not here. I'm trying to... Tink is, writing in his little notebook, trying to figure out these combination of musical instruments and the painting as well, and is still wondering about Emilio's flip and how did he do that. But he's not quite sure that he wants to ask the king this just yet. So I'm going to share that information with them, with the team, and just kind of tell them, I'm wondering about this flip that he did, but I don't think it's the right time to ask yet. I think we need more information.
Arthur, at this point, because this was kind of something from the last game, when he processes a lot of information, his ancient android brain struggles and he appears to be drunk. So he's kind of, I noticed that as well. Very peculiar. I can't say I've ever seen anybody do a backflip from a seated position. It also seems very interesting that these attacks started after this so-called time traveler came from the future to here now.
Are you drunkenly saying that pretty loudly in front of the king?
Ooh, yes. So I find it very suspicious that somebody can do a backflip from a seated position. I also find it very suspicious that these deaths started after this king travelled from the future.
Exactly.
I am here to serve the people. I am, of course, a servant leader. Here for you, my kingless people of Castle Madrigal. Everyone here in the castle has tried to pull the sword from the stone. You would have been leaderless. Where would you have been without? So I came from the future because in my time, we knew that I came from the future. So I knew that my time was here because no one else can pull the sword from the stone. So I brought it from the future.
Perhaps you'd care to pull the stone or the sword out of the stone now. If you can do it in the future, surely you can do it now. And then you'd have two lovely big king swords. Who doesn't want two big king swords?
But, Arthur, that would cause a paradox.
I think we're a bit in the paradox territory already.
As long as I don't try to pull the sword from the stone, the paradox will not happen.
Oh. And what if somebody else pulls the sword from the stone?
Yes, everyone has tried, but no one can.
Ooh. Arthur drunkenly walks up to the sword in the stone and Gonna do a strength roll. 4. Rolls a 4.
Describe pulling the sword from the stone, Arthur.
So he puts both hands on the hilt and just kind of pulls, starts wiggling it back and forth, and then it just kind of pops out all in one go. Just kind of whoop, right out, and he kind of sprawls back on the ground because he was pulling it with that much force.
Tink at the harpsichord stops playing. Varek, shoveling swan meat into his mouth, pauses and the meat drips down his chin. Everyone stares at you, aghast. Oh my goodness! Arthur has pulled the sword from the stone!
Oh, that's sobering.
Varek is surprised, but continues to eat.
And Tink is looking on and kind of chuckles to himself. Arthur actually pulls the sword from the stone. The irony.
Barnabas is looking at King Emilio to see what response happens from the current quote-unquote reigning king.
Just like when you guys first arrived and there was anger on his face before he plastered on that wide grin, the look immediately upon his face is anger. But again, fast facial expression change. He grins so widely and he says, "Behold, King Arthur!" And he has everybody cheering. He's more wine, more food, more party. This is a good thing. Everybody's supposed to be happy. And yeah, you can tell that King Emilio is not pleased. Also, everybody do a virtue roll, because virtue is for your cunning.
By the ancient rules of meat, or in this case, go under, my 12 is a meat and is success without cost.
Mine is 13, which is very much above the 6 of virtue.
Take 1 point away, Arthur. And Varek?
I rolled a 14, so I will be taking a point away from my strength.
What is your strength at nowadays?
It is at 9.
Ooh. And Tink?
Tink has rolled a wonderful, but yet not wonderful 14. 7 for virtue and 9 at strength. Tink is going to take... it's going to go to a 6 in virtue.
Yep. Y'all might die. So anyway, yeah, all of you notice that there's writing on the start of the hilt, right? Like there's writing on the side of the metal, and like the part that went into the stone had writing on it too. And there's writing on the king's sword as well, and you all notice that. So that's interesting. But anyway, for some reason, this party is winding down now. And the king says, hey, gets Mabel over, the maid from earlier, and goes, "Please show them to their room, a king's suite for them, for a king, and we will all be merry tomorrow." And Mabel starts ushering you guys out of the room. The kitchen staff are in full swing. They're going to be up for hours just cleaning this up. And Mabel's taking you away from King Emilio. What do you all do?
Varek goes over to Arthur and tells him that, I have a feeling that he's going to try to kill you. Like, I think that he killed the previous king, or someone killed the previous king in preparation for this Emilio character. So I would be careful.
There do seem to be a number of coincidences following the king's death. That would lead me to assume a similar assumption to what you're assuming. So, yes. I also do find his agility quite unnerving, especially in light of this alleged werewolf attack. So I wonder if he is a wolf in human clothing. Haha.
Well, if you need a bunk buddy for tonight, you just let me know.
Okay.
I can keep watch.
Well, I'd be quite happy to have somebody in my room. I do need to sleep, in a sense. I need to clear my cache, so to speak, so I don't end up drunk again.
Tink is listening along and agrees with everyone and says, perhaps we should all stay in the same room, or maybe someone should keep watch 2 and 2, or explore the castle more at night, which would probably not be good.
There is the matter of your friend, Sir Bastian, as well, Tink?
Yes, because we must figure out what is happening and look for this artifact.
Hey, Mabel.
Yes.
Is Professor Greymore in residence?
Yes. Would you like me to show you to her quarters?
Oh, yeah. Can we loop past Professor Greymore's before you show us to our rooms?
Of course. I have here, if they quietly ask a servant to take them to Professor Greymore versus if they ask the king. I just want to give, there's no inspiration in this game, but like gold star to figuring out not to ask the king that to Barnabas's player. At the end of the game, remind me to tell you what would have happened if you had asked the king about
Honestly,
Greymore.
props to Arthur at the very beginning for catching that one.
Mabel takes you to a room and knocks on a wooden door. Nothing happens, and she knocks again and says, Professor Greymore, it's me, Mabel. And you see the door open to a very scared-looking person who says to Mabel, what was that voice again? It was like anime protagonist voice. You can never be too careful. Tink, you see a familiar face. Professor Greymore's eyes widen when she sees you enter the room. Opens the door, pulls you in, and pulls you inside the room and closes the door behind the four of you. Professor Tinkerton Shelton and friends, I'm so glad you arrived. I'm afraid, deeply, deeply afraid. As you know, I took my sabbatical here to Madrigal Castle to investigate the Metronome artifact. I approached King Grosvenor and told him about my research, that the artifact was likely here but forgotten, stored somewhere. Unfortunately, he didn't know what I referred to. It would be hard to locate a small brass metronome in a whole big castle, I understand. But then, within a few weeks, King Grosvenor had died in his sleep, and then the werewolf attack started the next full moon. Thankfully, King Emilio arrived from an age yet to come to help protect us from the werewolf attacks. And yet, they continue. Because people are still dying, I wrote to the Temple of Vigardien for a holy investigator, and now, after the investigator's disappearance, during the day no less, I fear to even leave my room. Please help, I'm scared, people are dying. I am supposed to present my findings at a party being held in my honor on Saturday the 12th. I have to write my dissertation, and I can't leave my room to go look for the artifact because I'm scared of werewolf attacks. Please help me write my dissertation, Tink. And shakes you. He's so scared.
Tink is just sort of going back and forth, like blah blah blah, and says, "Okay. We can help you write this wonderful dissertation." And then I think Tink is thinking about, will the scroll of ancient tongues actually help her out with this dissertation? Tink wants to know more information. Tell me more about this metronome artifact. What does it do exactly?
Oh, that. I don't know.
Then why is it so important to you?
I love ancient artifacts.
I see.
I think ancient artifacts are a treasure.
Okay. Then we will find it. It's a metronome. Do you know what happened, why there are no musicians around?
There are no musicians around.
There were none playing the lute and the harpsichord and all of that in the king's feast. And if there's a metronome to be found, of course, musicians would need one. Or
Wasn't
not.
Suanna playing the flute?
She was not.
I don't know. I haven't been outside in a while. Oh.
I believe she died from werewolf attack.
Oh, no.
Pietro, Savannah, someone else that had a Elodie name.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Pietro, Elvis, Chiara, and Suanna are all dead?
They are buried in the cemetery, from what we understand.
Oh, no. She, sits down on her bed.
Come to think of it, is it not odd that all the musicians have been targeted?
Were they all musicians, them?
Sobbing, she confirms.
Perhaps the werewolf is aware that music is the key for unlocking the superhuman strength.
Aha. And the only place we're going to find this artifact could be buried among the dead. I love digging.
I'm feeling rather inspired. I might be able to use this sword to dig up a little bit of mud.
It's not part of Barnabas's tradition, but it just like by association, he kind of like reels and is taken aback, like clutches lance protectively to himself.
Is it possible that the werewolves attacked all the musicians because they have such sensitive hearing that the music would have been overstimulating to their canine senses? I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm all down for digging up a dead body, but I wonder, what if we use music to lure out a werewolf?
Wow, you guys are asking the same sorts of questions that the investigator was. You would have really gotten along.
Sir Crink, you mean?
Yeah, he was so nice.
Do you know what he did? Did he come to visit you and then leave? Or what do you know about Sir Crink?
He came to visit me, and then he left, and I expected him to come back, but he didn't. He left at about 11 a.m., and I expected him back at 3 p.m., but he was never seen again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not the middle of the night.
That you are correct. So, then are the werewolves attacking... Since you never come out of your room, do you know if the werewolves are attacking during the day as well?
I'm going to need all of you to roll a virtue roll, because I've been letting you ask questions, like, a lot. All of you, virtue roll. Sorry, I forgot the mechanics of the game. You're supposed to be dying while you do this.
Do my questions count because they were more like hypothetical, not necessarily trying to find out information from the NPC?
You don't have to if you don't want to. And can everyone say their resulting new stats for me as we recenter ourselves and realign our priorities with the investigation?
I scored a 5, so I'm just about safe.
What are your strength and virtue, Archer? King Arthur?
10 and strength and 6 on virtue.
Tink has rolled a 3. So my stats are the same as before, 6 in virtue, 9 in strength.
Varek's strength is 9 and his virtue is 6.
Having just rolled a 17, I'm going to take a hit to my strength because I think that's going to shock me a bit to the core and kind of weaken my resolve, my bravery, which puts me at a 5 for strength and a 12 for virtue. And then I want to follow up and say, you mentioned that Sir Crank left and didn't come back. I think I remember King Emilio asking if Crank had brought me as reinforcements. I wonder, do we know, team, that Crank has been werewolfed, or might he have been sent away, perhaps by the king?
I don't know who this Crank character is, so I have no idea.
It's a very good theory.
Perhaps... Crink is the investigator from the Temple of Vigardien. I sent them a letter because the werewolves kept killing people, and that was even before Zuana died.
That sounds like a new name. Who's Zuana?
No, you guys just didn't
Savannah?
write this down. Pietro, Elvis, Chiara, and Zuana.
Oh, Zuana. I thought Savannah.
It was before I knew that Zuana had died, so I had asked for help from the Temple of Vigardien, and they sent Sir Crink. Sir Crink came here, talked to me, asked some questions, was heading off to the kitchen for a snack, and I never saw him again.
It strikes me as this Crink is something of a missing piece. The missing information of where he went is quite vital, so if we were to find out more, it would probably be a good idea to follow in his footsteps to see where he last was.
This is excellent theory. I was thinking exactly the same.
So, would the kitchen be open at this time? Would there be anybody there, do you think? I'm asking this to the team, not to the guy in the room.
I think they were all picking up from the feast.
Guys, I have an idea. Because I am a changeling, maybe it would be more beneficial if I changed into the king or someone with authority to go into the kitchen, and maybe that would make it a bit easier to elicit information from them rather than all four, just random strangers going into a kitchen. Maybe that might make it a bit easier to gain some information, maybe more forthcoming.
So Tink is thinking about this and says, that sounds like a great idea, but then we are all separated. But perhaps you should pretend you're walking around with us, like giving us a tour of the kitchen at night, for whatever reason. And I've got celery.
I take it. Ever since I saw the king, I've been wanting to transform into him anyway.
I was of the same mind as Tink. It's very good ideas. Rather, we do not get separated when there are murders happening. And if you were to change into the king or one of the servants here, it probably would lower the suspicions of the staff here, make them more amenable to your questioning.
Conversely, because we know that this Mr. Crink person was missing after he went to the kitchen, I could also transform into Crink, and maybe they might try to kidnap me. I am okay using myself as bait.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are a few options open to us, and I am very happy to put myself out there.
I will give you... Tink is searching through his little pocket and decides that if this is the route we go, I will give you this celery. You keep it in your jacket pocket so that if the real other one shows up, we'll know who's who. You just show the celery. So he just sort of pushes it and gives it to you.
Just quick query, though. Do we know what this Crink looks like?
Does the NPC, do they have a photo of this person? Because if they have a photo, I can transform into them.
Afraid not.
Okay, well, there goes that plan. Without knowing what he looks like, I can't change.
Well, maybe you could change into Greymore here, since she never leaves her room, but everyone knows who she is.
Okay, I could do that, yeah.
And then we can investigate the kitchen. What do you all think?
I'm quite liking this idea, this plan.
I like that it seems like Professor Greymore's... I don't like that Professor Greymore's life seems to be in danger, but I like the idea of you looking like Professor Greymore, so that way if their life is indeed in danger, that you walking the halls as them might make them more safe here in their room.
All right.
I mean, I'm down to do it.
Tink, describe what your friend Professor Greymore looks like. What does she look like?
Professor Greymore is about a woman of an age of about 45 years old, has long brown hair and keeps it in a bun, and is currently wearing a long gray dress down to the floor, and wonderful sandals to go along with it.
I will turn to Professor Greymore and ask if she has any spare clothing I could borrow. As I change, my clothing will not change with me.
Do a virtue roll to see if she's okay with you representing her in public.
It's probably ain't gonna turn out good. I rolled a 3.
Again, all rolls succeed in this game. The question is what
That's
it
right.
costs you. It didn't cost you anything to convince her, so go ahead and roleplay that. How do you make her comfortable with this?
All right, I go to Greymore and I tell her, "Hey, Professor G, I'm trying to look like you to stop these werewolves' attacks. Can I borrow your clothing as part of my disguise? I promise you're not in danger, and I will only represent you with the utmost respect and true to your character.
Because you said it that way, she agrees and she gives you... Describe what you're wearing.
She gives me a white dress that goes down to my ankles and some gardening boots. And the dress is cinched at the waist with a belt.
And that is who emerges from Professor Greymore's room.
All right. So now, just to be clear, are we all in the hall? Are we all in the hallway with me kind of leading the way to the kitchen?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
fine. Yeah.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
So I guess we're walking down the hallway. Does anyone know where the kitchens are? Because I guess that is also an important thing to figure out. So we're not aimlessly wandering the halls.
You all can smell where the kitchens are.
All right. Well, I follow my nose and I try to look like I'm explaining things to the group as we are making our way to the kitchen.
Make a roll to see how convincing you are. Are you using strength or virtue?
I'll use strength. And I rolled a 17. So I will decrease strength by another point.
Describe what it looks like, what other people see as you step into the kitchen.
Well, they see Professor Greymore showing them around the kitchen, pointing to things, a little bit clueless, a little bit confused as to what things are. Like a cheese grater. It's called a grinder, or it's a very obvious. I'm not entirely certain what I'm doing, but I do it with confidence nonetheless.
Yeah, you do. And you step into a kitchen that is hustling and bustling. This is post-party. There's a half-eaten swan. There's a pile of apples in the corner that no one has touched yet. There's desserts and fruits and wines and pies. There's a barrel of flour, a shelf of potatoes and onions, that barrel of apples in the corner. And as you are watching, an apple rises from the barrel and speeds across the room straight at a kitchen staff, whaps them in the shin, and they kind of curse and are like, what the heck? And then they continue about their duty.
That seems a bit strange, don't you think, guys?
You've seen one levitating apple, you've seen them all.
Do you frequently see levitating apples?
I've been around a bit in my time. I've seen one.
Arthur, make a strength check.
17.
An apple hits you. Describe what that costs you in strength.
So, Arthur already has very stiff arms, and it just strikes him right on the joint, and it's a bit like the android version of a tennis elbow. He just feels this jarring kind of sensation, almost like electricity going up his arm, and his arm starts shaking. How frustrating, says Arthur, as his arm shakes. He turns to the staff and says, how long has this been going on for?
A very sweaty, very tired, maybe on drugs, cook says, for a week! Ah! You! Barking out orders. You! Barking out orders. You!
So, can I perhaps ask you your name, sir? Are you in charge of the kitchen here?
They're whirling around, commanding people, sweating, cleaning up after the night. They want to go home. Make a roll.
Ooh, 5.
Nice. Describe what convinces them.
So, he sees the sword at my side, and he's gone, oh, this must be the new king. That is, the news is spreading around the castle now. And he's kind of say, yeah, I'll let you play. Yeah.
Oh, the king! Oh, my... He bows quite low to the ground. The sweat drips off his forehead and onto the floor.
Perhaps you can dish some information to me. Haha, kitchen pun. Were you here when Sir Crunk came?
Your Royal Highness, I do not know to whom you refer.
Just to the rest of the team, just remind me again, when did Sir Crunk disappear?
And Tink is thinking, looks through his notebook. I believe was around 11 a.m., was it? He was expected back by 3 and did not make it back to Greymore. Is that right?
And that was 7 days ago, yes?
That's what I recall. And I look to the professor like,
So I'm coming back to the head chef. Was there anybody working here about 7 days ago around 11 a.m.?
I can't recall anyone, no. Your Royal Highness.
So I turn to the group and I say, wouldn't that suggest that maybe Sir Crink didn't even make it to the kitchen? It must have disappeared before he arrived at this location.
That would be a good assumption.
A bowl levitates from the counter, moves a few inches over, and clashes to the ground.
I'd like to try and tackle where the bowl was in case there was something there to be tackled. In my experience, bowls don't move unless something picks them up.
You feel an incredibly cold spot of air.
Come to think of it, this apple situation's been happening for a week now, hasn't it?
So what if Sir Crink died in the kitchen and is now a ghost and is haunting the kitchen and peppering the employees with apples?
Then may I trouble you for an exorcism, Your Highness? We can't have apples pelting our staff.
I'm only recently qualified as your king, and not very qualified in the matters of exorcism, unfortunately.
Barnabas is going to fold his fingers and he goes to what would be cracking his knuckles because he's seen this maneuver done by other people and he thinks it looks really cool. But he's just a bundle of cloth, so just it doesn't make any noise at all. But he goes,
Well, that sounds like it's time for Sir Barnabas to shine.
and he's going to say,
Oh, if this indeed is the spirit of Sir Crank, we invoke your aid in the name of V Guardian. You seem capable of lifting things. Could you bob an apple through the hallways towards the person who ended your life?
I would like you to make a roll, and I think the kitchen staff are going to react to the ghost questioning. And everybody's going to be like, it seems clean enough. And I'd say the number of people in the kitchen decreases to half.
Yes, I got a 9 on my 12 virtue, so success with no cost.
Okay. What happens is, as the kitchen staff are washing dishes around you and putting food away, a shimmery form becomes visible in the air. Barnabas, this person is familiar to you. It's Sir Crink, unfortunately. You know Sir Crink. Maybe you forgot his name, but you'll never forget his relentless bullying. Guided by the encouragement of Sir Moradid, Sir Crink made you feel unwelcome at the Temple of Vigardien. You last saw Sir Crink when he tried to take Lance from you, and that was one of the terrible bullying incidents that motivated you to leave the temple without completing your night training. Sir Crink, newly half incorporeal, recognizes you, and he looks horribly guilty and ashamed. Aghast. A ghost, one could say.
Oh, I see what you did there. Sir K, you're Sir Crank? I had no idea that was your last name.
The form looks like it's going through a series of emotions.
Sir Crank, if you would wish to repair your honor, aid us in saving the people of this keep. Point to us, the one who ended your life.
He points and looks apologetic at you. You know, like you can't really communicate, but he's like...
Oh, I bet you can't leave the kitchen.
And he points to the barrel of apples.
I think his body is in that barrel, guys.
Mm.
I'm going to go
I will
and
go look in the barrel.
Make a roll to investigate. Everyone who's looking for bodies in barrels of apples.
Would this be a strength or a virtue, or would we get to decide?
You can decide how you roleplay, but make it make sense.
I'm going to do a strength roll to see if I can beat Varek there. A 15 on a 4 means that I am going to be investigating, but slightly slower than Varek.
I rolled a 5 on my virtue, and I have a 6 at virtue, so no cost. Also, before I go check, well, I want to change back into my original form because I'm still Greymore, and I don't think that's necessary anymore. But I will stay as Greymore for now. So I get to the barrel. So I'm assuming I get to the barrel first, then, correct? So I'm digging. I am pulling out apples and I am just chucking them behind me. And
You're touching the apples.
I am touching the apples.
Okay, you're touching the apples. You start to swell. You start to puff.
Guys, these apples aren't safe.
You're having an allergic reaction.
Does anyone have any medicine? Anyone's got any epinephrine or any kind of something I can do? Help?
Arthur picks his readies his sword, says, I could lop it off if you want.
I would like to keep my arms. They're kind of important.
Tink says, perhaps you can take a bite of the celery. Maybe that will counteract what's going on with the apples.
Make a roll.
Oh, okay.
Here's the thing about this game. Players tend to succeed at their rolls. Make a roll for using celery as an anti-anaphylaxis.
Right. 6! Yay! So I did 6 against either the strength or the virtue. And I have a 6 and a 9, so hurrah! No cost.
Pick one and role play curing this deadly reaction in Varek, who touched the apple.
So my virtue. So I go over and I remember that I gave him the celery, so I quickly reach into a pocket of the dress and I pull it out and I summon my turtle wisdom and I say, eat the celery, take a bite. And I just kind of snap it in half and I just shove it like so close to him that he has no option except to eat.
How swollen is my face?
You're getting there. Oh, you're getting there. You're getting to the point where you are almost unable to breathe and you are turning purple.
Oh, gosh. Okay, so with my big old thick hands that are getting enlarged every second, I fumble with the celery and try to shove it into my ballooning face.
Thank goodness Tink was here, because, man, if you'd been alone, you might, and then you see, unfortunately, behind the barrels and the crates, no one noticed because it's a chilled room. And in the back of the stumbling, he must have stumbled here, passed through the doorway into the chilled room, and then, like a piece of refrigerated ham, he's been here all week. You see, Sir Crink.
Now wait, I have a question. If the apples are deadly to the touch, how come that person that was hit by an apple did not die?
Clothes.
Okay. Thought I was onto something there. Is it safe to examine the body? Because if it is, I would like to examine Mr. Crink.
The sparkly form of the ghost stands over you as you roll a...
Guess I'll roll a virtue at a 3. So succeed with no cost.
He finds his voice when he finds his corpse. He literally finds his voice box. He finds his voice. And he says, no.
Yes, unfortunately.
So I guess that means it's not safe to examine the body.
Oh, no.
I would like to go grab a wooden spoon from the kitchen and use it to poke the body.
Arthur is an android and therefore immune to poisons.
That would work.
Or so he thinks. So Arthur kind of steps up and starts to examine the body. So I'm going to roll on a strength for that. Eek, 20. So that is... Where is my strength? Down to 8. Strength down to 8. So he's rather rough with his examination. He just picks up the body and starts shaking it and turning the head round and stretching things to see exactly how, what if it was poison or not that killed Sir Crunk. And it was.
Much like Varek, Sir Crink is puffed and purple. It seems that the same thing happened to Sir Crink as happened to Varek. And this ghost is in great distress looking at their body, and they finally stop saying no, which you think maybe it's good they don't only say one word. And they finally say, "King, please grant me a resting place on your castle grounds."
I don't see why not. A cemetery good enough for you?
Thank you. And then to Barnabas, he says, "I could not move on because my shame of what I had done to you."
Barnabas is going to look from Sir Crank to Lance. Lance is going to turn his googly eyes towards Barnabas, and kind of the little floaty eyebrows above them kind of soften into a little curved around the backside. And Lance kind of bobs at Barnabas, and Barnabas says, "I forgive you, Sir Crank. You were doing what you thought was best in the moment."
"I was wrong. Thank you. You are truly a V-Guardian. I am glad that I was able to help V-Guardian's purpose by being here. I found 2 things that may assist you, true V-Guardian Knight Barnabas."
Oh, yeah, lay 'em on us.
1. Everyone make 2 rolls because you're getting 2 very useful clues from this ghost.
Is Arthur at risk of dying?
I'm on a 6 and an 8.
Well, no, because you were. She said that you were puffed up after you touched the body, as if the same thing.
Crink is puffed up.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that. Yeah, Crink, dead, puffed. Yeah,
Okay.
probably from the lack of the breathing turned purple.
Yeah. All right.
Thank goodness you had a friend with celery.
Yeah. Thanks. Thank you, Tink.
Tink is just going to raise the monocle and blink a few times and wiggle his nose. Of course.
So you guys are making 2 rolls against your virtue because this ghost wholeheartedly believes that you are the rightful hands of V-Guardian here to help the situation. Literally on Lady V-Guardian's, I wouldn't say payroll, but sent from above.
So I rolled a 12 and an 8.
Okay. Against your... those would both fail, right?
Yeah. So my virtue will now go to a 4.
Ooh.
I rolled a 2 and an 8. So I'll knock my virtue down to a 5.
Yes, I rolled a 3 and a 19, so now my virtue goes to 5.
I had a 5 and a 15, so I'm going to be reducing my virtue to 11, and the way that I think this is happening is already some of those people that have left the kitchen are starting to whisper about me conferring with ghosts and spirits, and so the level of virtue in the eyes of the Kingdom community is getting a little bit, what's this guy's deal?
Yeah, he just readily brought out an exorcism and just started chatting with the ghost, and the ghost is apologizing to him. What is this guy's deal? Yeah, but from Sir Crink's perspective, he was here to help you, investigator of V-Guardian. So the fact that he hasn't passed on yet makes sense to him as he shares these 2 things. 1. I investigated the werewolf victim bodies before they were buried. I found that although all of them had many slash marks all over their bodies. They shared uniformly bludgeoning at the temple on the head, not striking individually, but the fact that all of the corpses had it present in the exact same location. Strange. And the fact that many of the victims were wearing silver jewelry that would have protected them if it were indeed a werewolf. Second, now that I am deceased and on my way to Vigardien in peace, thank you for forgiving me, Barnabas. I hope I will be of assistance. As I say, my death served a greater purpose because as a ghost I floated between the walls and I found a secret passageway right behind this barrel. The very barrel that took my life. That was worth 2 rolls, right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I want to turn to the group and I want to ask them, do you think we should burn the apples or destroy them so that way no one else dies?
I think that would probably be a good idea.
I like this idea, but...
Yeah.
And Tink says, and we also must consider the smoke and toxins they give off. As long as the kitchen has lots of celery, make sure everyone in the castle eats the celery, just in case.
I suspect that with a dead body right here, there's going to be a whole contamination cleanup. So we should probably just let the head cook now. And then I bet we can deal with the apples later because people will just avoid this area and we can focus on that secret passage.
I want to keep an apple in my, if I have a backpacker, can I wrap it in a towel and just take it with me? Just a single apple?
Yes, and please make a virtue check.
Okay.
And a second virtue check. So 1 virtue check for wrapping up the apple. And if you're going to get a wrapped apple regardless, but we're going to see if it costs you. And then a second one just for you, Varek.
I rolled a 3, so that's success at no cost on the first one, and then a 19. So I will decrease my strength by 1.
As you remember, and it's paining you physically. You're not as strong because you're so shocked by this memory. This is a poison used by the Nightborn Syndicate because it's easier to assassinate people when it looks like they've had an allergic reaction.
Okay. Tuck that information away.
You know this poison. You've trained with this poison. You may have used this poison on some of your past jobs.
Actually, I learned it from my master, my teacher that was the head of the syndicate that I was a part of. This was actually his specialty that he trained me in.
Yes, it was this very same poison. Tink, you were going to say something.
I was just going to remind him that I am wearing gloves. I could have handed him the apple. Or wrapped it up for him.
Arthur could have wrapped it for you with no risk.
I like to take risks, what can I say?
This is to the team. The 4 musicians were killed with bludgeoning to the head. Can we remember what one of the consequences were to invincible super strength versus being beaten to death? I believe that was in the head or by the head.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I remember.
Yeah. Beaten.
So there's a lot of beating to the
Bludgeoned.
death of the head happening, for my liking.
So, unless someone with super strength did both, they had super strength and they beat them to a pulp, my bets are perhaps they are using this brass metronome to create havoc. But why?
Maybe the answers will be in this secret path behind the barrel.
I agree.
Yeah, let's check it out. Thanks again, Sir Kay. Tell V Guardian I say hi.
We'll sort you out in the morning, but the body thing, if you're okay waiting.
Thank you.
And before we go into the passageway, I will change back into my original form and change back into my original clothes and put the wrapped apple in my cloak. I'm kind of hoping to use it against the king. So, if it comes down to it. Just to tell my other group members that I want to be transparent with my motivations for wanting to bring a poisoned apple with us. That king has skeeved me out since I first saw him, so this is just in case we want to make it look like an accident.
I really thought we were going to end up finding out that these apples were how King Grosvenor had been killed, but I don't remember anyone saying they found him all puffy.
Maybe they left out that detail.
Oh, we can still have fun digging after we've solved the murder.
And you never know when you'll need a poison apple.
That's my life motto.
It seems a very niche life motto.
Well, when you have the life I've had, you would understand.
Sir Barnabas gives you like an appraising look and then shrugs and goes,
Well, let's go down the secret passage.
Who's going down the secret passage?
Varek will lead the group.
I am also coming.
And I'll go third.
And I'll be leading up the back with the sword.
All right. You all are walking through a stone secret passageway. It is much narrower than the actual hallways of this castle, but it has the same stone and, interestingly, the same crenellations with their music instrument and writing along the top that have been on all of the hallways. You're passing through hallways with statues normally. This is so narrow that there's no room for statues, no room for paintings, just room for your bodies and the occasional drip down a neglected wall. It winds, there's stairs, it goes downhill, and you're not sure how long you've been walking when finally you come to the end of the hallway. It is completely flat stone. There is a tiny hole in the wall that you only notice because, is anybody holding a light source?
I was going to say, doesn't Tink have a torch? Tink has a torch.
You only notice it because it doesn't glisten with the same wet slime that the rest of the wall does. And it's the blackness that reveals the tiny eye-sized hole.
I would like to look through that hole.
You see darkness.
I wonder if this is like one of those things where there's like a painting on the other side.
I'll pull back and I'll let anyone else that wants to look or engage with it examine it.
Is the hole big enough for Tink to kind of get close up with the torch and use the light to see into it?
It is a 1-inch, eyeball-sized hole. If you think it's reasonable for your torch to be involved there, you can make a roll.
No, I don't think it's that reasonable. If it's the size of an eyeball, the torch isn't. It's just gonna do. The light is just gonna pass back and forth. It's not gonna go through like how it went. So maybe not.
Although it took Arthur some time, he has remembered he can see in the dark. So Arthur will be able to look through the hole.
Oh yeah, we have a killbot. Killbot, you see a bathroom. It's luxurious. There's a jacuzzi tub.
Jacuzzi tub? You don't see many of them in castles.
Why would someone need a looking hole to be able to see in at a jacuzzi tub?
Ooh, that's a very good and disturbing point.
Well,
I have a theory. So I think it's because the king, this is his own little spy hole here, Emilio. My guess, what was the name of the maid that we first met when we came in the castle?
Mabel Walker. You
So
didn't
I
ask
think-
that, though.
That's right. So my thinking is that this King Emilio has a crush on Mabel, or the maid, and has systematically killed everyone that was close to her to have her attention on him as his own sick way of wooing her to love him. Get rid of the competition. That's my theory.
Then I must ask, what is a maid doing with a jacuzzi tub?
Well, I mean, he could have lavished on her riches in order to, like I said, to woo her. I mean, the money didn't work, and the gifts, because she was so, her brother and everyone else, like, he thought in his own twisted way the only way for her to love him was to get rid of everyone close to her in her life. So all that's left is him.
And are jacuzzi tubs a thing of the future? Perhaps he brought it with him from where he was.
I mean, that's, I guess, a possibility, yeah, from the future.
So, by that theory, that would mean, has he been here before, or he has access to going back and forth into time frames? What gives him access to bring back, different things?
I don't know. I haven't gotten that far yet.
I think it might be, is there a way for us to get into this room?
Make a strength check as you feel up and down the stone wall.
Oh, 5. Oh, 6. What have I got? Oh, I've got an 8. Oh. Yeah.
You succeed at no cost to push this passage, and it spins around a turning point. You guys seen Scooby-Doo when the wall rotates? Yeah. So the stone that you were on, that side is now out. Just for Arthur, though, there was only enough room for Arthur to go. And Arthur, you're inside. Oh, you're the only one who can see, too. You're inside a very luxurious bathroom. There's stuff on the bathroom counter.
Ooh. Arthur kind of examines the bathroom counter.
You see prosthetics.
Prosthetics, a disguise.
Yeah, you see a beard, you see a mustache, you see a big nose.
The king has a big nose and a beard. The king is somebody else. He's pretending to be a traveller from the future. But who is he without the makeup? Can I examine the rest of the room? Is it just the bedroom, is it? Or a bathroom? Is it connected to anything?
Arthur steps into the bedroom. Please make a strength, because strength is kind of like your stealth as well. Please make a strength roll.
Ooh, 12.
Is that higher than your current
it's
strength?
Higher, yeah. So succeed, and I'll go down to 7 on my strength.
With a cost. Okay, the cost is that the snoring that you heard coming from the very luxurious bed in this room stops. The snoring then starts again, but it's very even and uniform, and it's possible it's now coming from a few feet over there.
So Arthur still has night vision, so he's looking at the bed.
Then you see, as the person who was in the bed, who is not someone you have seen before, stands up and takes out a dagger, continuing to snore as they stand.
As this is maybe passing time, I'm going to attempt to try and go through into the bathroom and be like, come on, we got to follow. We got to see where Arthur went. So I will make a strength check with my strength of 3 and get a 6, which ain't bad, but it's more than the 3. So I'm going to go down to a 2.
I do like how the drama is a bit elevated as people might die.
Well, lucky Barnabas has a steed.
Yes.
Lucky. I will also try to go through as well.
Make a strength check.
And I rolled a 13, which is higher than my 7, so my strength is going down to a 6.
And Tink will also attempt to go through and rolls a 1 and goes through. No cost.
Nice.
And what was Barnabas? What was your strength at now?
It is now at a 2.
At a 2. Are we able to use that
I like
rule
to imagine that I got through the spinner easily, but then didn't have the foresight to move out of the way as Varek came through, and so we like stumbled into each other, and like.
Nice.
I look at the counter and see all the prosthetics, and I tell the group, guys, I think I was wrong about this being the maid's bathroom, before noticing that there's a person standing off against Arthur.
You actually can't see in the dark. The question is, did Tink come through with the torch?
Oh, is it dark?
Yes, Tink came in with the torch. When I went through, it was a 1.
The torchlight from Tink entering the room illuminates Arthur standing and approaching the bed, where a person, Varek, who you recognize, has slipped out of the bed and is standing while snoring. Stop snoring now that the torch is on. That's funny. And Varek, you recognize this isn't Emilio. Can you please give me their real name? Someone from the Nightborn Syndicate who you trained with alongside Orin under Soren?
But it would be Orin.
No, someone else.
Oh, Valdoc.
Valdoc from the Nightborn Syndicate. He meets your eyes, Varek, and you kind of give each other that look of you both know what's happening.
See, I knew there was a reason why I didn't like this guy when I first saw him.
Ooh, okay. Well, he is shrugging at you, holding a dagger, standing next to the bed he was sleeping in, with the sword on the nightstand, and it's a tense moment. Varek, what do you say?
I snarl at him like, "It's you! What are you doing here impersonating a king?"
Make a roll. Do you use your strength or your virtue?
I'm going to do my virtue, which is an 8, which is higher than my 4, so at a cost. So I will reduce my virtue to a 3.
I'm here at the... I'm here at the behest of the Nightborn Syndicate.
I turn to the group and say, "Guys, this is really bad. See, the thing is...
He'll betray you." He interrupts you. He'll betray you like he betrayed us. Don't trust a Varek as far as you can throw it.
And I turn to the group and say, "Guys, don't listen to that guy. He's crazy. And
he killed the only father he knew."
Lies. All lies. Can I hand the apple to Tink and ask him to throw it at him?
Tink, make a strength check.
This guy's got to shut up.
Tink rolls a 3 and takes the apple and says, "Yes, I will do this for you." And
all right.
Just
chuck it at him.
He takes it with his glove hand and he's gonna reel back in the best turtle strength possible and throws it.
It hits him on his left cheek, right under his eye, and he just looks at you and says, "Varek, who do you think poisoned the apples?" I'm immune to that. You're immune to that. We're all immune to that. Soren trained us in... Come on, Varek.
All I know is that if you're here at the behest of the Nightborn Syndicate, you're up to no good. Because I know that Judy of the Nightborn Syndicate was no good, and if you're part of it all ties together. And I'm going to kind of have Lance in hand and maybe move towards the door to block his exit.
Who is Judy?
Oh, you know Judy.
I do.
Judy was one of her names from the Nightborn Syndicate.
Okay.
Oh, Judy.
Arthur interjects as well as I can see the dagger you're holding. Let's be honest here, you're in a bit of a bind. Put the dagger down. I've got a sword, mine's bigger than yours.
Do a virtue roll.
Ooh, 17. Let's knock that virtue down. So I'm down to 4 on the virtue.
Yeah. Okay, he puts the dagger down. You always succeed at this game, and he picks up the sword. It looks a lot like yours.
And I also, I want to note that, so the other group members know that Varek is very scared right now. He doesn't, he looks like he's about to just run. He is about to just bolt because of the reveal that this is someone from the syndicate.
And make a virtue check as he continues talking about that apple that you threw at him, tried to poison him with. He doesn't seem to be having an allergic reaction to, and he says, Varek, you wouldn't know. You never know. You weren't ever paying attention. You don't even know that this is the same poison that killed your parents. You're so ignorant of so many things. And then he takes out from a little chest pocket, he takes out a little brass metronome and he sets it on, it sort of looks like a piano, but it's next to, it's in his room, his bedroom. It's right near him. He sets it on it and he flicks the metronome and it starts swinging and ticking, keeping perfect time. And he looks amazing. Have you guys seen that Superman short video thing where a bullet is going right at Superman's eye and he just looks right at it and the bullet hits his eye and he doesn't even blink and the bullet curves and it bounces off of his eyeball and it's super intense. He's got that sheen to him right now in this moment, and he approaches Arthur with the sword.
Metronome. Invincible super strength. Think this may be a problem.
Did you say something, Varek?
Wait, did you want me to roll for virtue?
No, you can skip it. I kind of just did.
Okay.
Anyway, that all happened. Everybody, we're going to go in rounds. This is a combat. Good luck.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Ooh. I scored a 1.
Oh,
So
9.
can you all just roll a quick d20 so that we can get a turn order? There's no turn order system in this game, but I do want to have a turn order because I think that helps with combats. This is just my personal GM preference. So can we have the highest, can we have the person closest to 1 on a d20 go first? And can you all just share me your initiative roll on a d20? What's your numbers?
I rolled a 10.
10 for Varek.
I rolled a 9.
I just scored a 1, but I wanted that to be...
You can do another one for your initiative roll.
Okay, cool. That's a 13.
13, 9, 10.
14 for Barnabas.
14. So it's 9, 10, 13, 14. So it's Tink, Varek, Arthur, Barnabas. Did I get that right? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Tink, you're up first. The person is approaching Arthur with the sword. What do you do?
Tink is going to reach into his wonderful shell of toys here and gadgets and pulls out the shovel and is going to attempt to swat at the sword or block the sword so that it doesn't hit him. And do I need to roll again?
For strength, please.
All right. 8, and my strength is a 9, so no cost.
You smoothly block the sword blow that had been coming at Arthur. Arthur, before you can even duck, dodge, parry, anything, Tink saves you from this maybe not real, maybe not authentic, but still a sword coming at you. It's Valdok's turn. I'm going to have Valdok go in between each of you. Valdok's going to pick up the apple that he's immune to and throw it at Tink. Tink, please make a roll to see if what happens when this apple flies at you not very far, because you're actually in combat. He's just smushing it into your
Okay.
He's eating apple turtle.
And Tink scores an 11 against strength, and so I have to knock my strength down to 8. And Tink gladly says, "Fine, I shall take a bite of your apple," and eats a bit of the apple, and Tink knows he still has another half of the celery in his pocket.
Tink has the antidote. and bites that.
Bites the...
Man, I feel very conflicted because, like, Varek is very afraid of Valdok, of the implications of what it means that he's here and the danger that he now poses to the group and the fire-breathing kittens in general. But I guess he has no choice but to fight. So he whips out his daggers and he rushes Valdog. So I guess that is a strength, right? Yeah. Okay. So I rolled a 2, and my strength is a 6. So no cost.
Describe the scene, the combat.
So Varek crouches in low. He goes in low, and he's kind of aiming for. I'm aiming for the Achilles tendon in his heel, in both of them. So Varek swipes his daggers across both of his Achilles tendons, hopefully bringing him to the ground.
It's like cutting a metal telephone pole. A spark might even fly as your dagger strikes against the Achilles tendon that is completely invulnerable.
What? What sorcery is he using to make himself invulnerable? I'm assuming we can't have a conversation during combat, can we?
You can use your turn for a good old conversation.
I'll remember that next time.
But in the meantime, Valdok is going to swipe at you, Varek. You've got the sword with the gems in the hilt coming down from an overhead blow onto you, Varek. What do? Make a roll for strength.
Yeah, okay. I rolled a 6. My strength is a 6, so I'm assuming that's a no cost, right?
No cost.
All right. So Varek, at the last second, manages to roll away from the blade coming down upon him.
As you dodge, it crashes onto the stone floor, and you imagine that this is making a lot of noise. Barnabas, you're last. Arthur, it's your turn.
Arthur moves in. I scored a 1 before, so Arthur moves in and kind of uses his sword to catch the sword on the floor. And as he does that, lets go and then bear hugs the villain and just pins both his arms to his side and stops his arms from moving. Although it's like, obviously he's super strong, but so is Arthur, so it's a real contest of strength. And just shouts out, "Destroy that metronome!"
That was quite the turn. Valdok is unable to attack you, so he gets his head far back and he brings his head really far forward. Do a strength check as he headbutts you.
Ooh, 7. And I've got a 7.
You do not pay a cost as it feels like a freight train hits you right in the forehead there. Barnabas, you're last. Please take your turn.
Barnabas looks over at Arthur, and the camera's got Barnabas directly staring on, being like, "Can you find the metronome?" And then pans over to Professor Tink, who's got the torch, and so the torchlight, and then sees the metronome over there, and I'm gonna run over there and just try and grab the metronome. I don't know what you call that, pendulum, and bring it to a resting point at the middle, and just try and stop it from swinging back and forth. And I'm going to make a roll on that. And then you could tell me what happens, GM. Ooh, I rolled a 2, which is exactly equal to my strength of 2.
Oh my gosh, you're about to die. Okay, the odds of that not decreasing down to 1. Okay, the metronome is incredibly strong as it keeps perfect rhythm, and you find your fingers are being injured by this thing as it is so powerful that there's no stopping. It's like scissor blades as it's going back and forth and back and forth.
If I could grab that, I actually love the narrative visual. I go to grab it and you just stop it like this. And we watch as his floppy cloth body gets swung back and forth and back and forth on the end of it. Ah! It's much stronger than it looks.
And you're keeping perfect time. You are flopping back and forth, and you feel you feel a serenity to the metronome. It's beautiful how exactly perfect your time is being kept as you go wee like a washing machine.
Neat.
Yes. And also another inspiration point for trying to stop the metronome. That, yes, that is very insightful. Okay, we're going to the top of the round. Tink, to describe the scene. The metronome is flailing Barnabas like, have you guys ever seen things attached to screwdrivers? And then the screwdriver turns on and it's like, woo! That's Barnabas. Or like an airport landing flag person. Flag. Like a semaphore. That's Barnabas. And this is on, what did I say? It was a harpsichord that it was put on. Barnabas is flailing atop the harpsichord, just like an old piano. Varek has just dodged from a sword strike that made the ground spark. Arthur has been headbutted and is now grappling the incredibly strong. You're not sure how long that grapple's going to last. The scene is before you. What do you do? Oh, and also, there's writing on both of the swords.
So, the first thing that comes to Tink's mind, he's looking about and he thinks to himself, first I must think before I tink. And he's kind of thinking about stuff and he says, well, I can either try to use my trusty shovel again and try to, shove it into this metronome, or what if I make a syncopated rhythm and knock the metronome off its perfect rhythm? So Tink just starts clapping his hands off beat, like, and try to make it.
Oh, you're being offbeat around the metronome.
Yes.
Okay, make a strength check as it flies for your temple.
A 6. Yes, because my strength is 8.
Okay, you succeed. You dodge the angry bumblebee coming at you, flailing a cloth golem behind it, sort of like a Muppet on a windmill, comes at your face and you dodge.
I dodged it.
It was coming right for your temple.
Right on the offbeat, I go, whoosh, I duck, and it goes right past. I try to reach out to grab the piece of fabric from Barnabas. To grab him off, pull him off.
Barnabas, you've been rescued.
Oh, thanks.
Varek, it's your turn. Currently, we've got sort of like a washing machine whirling Muppet and turtle and metronome all beating each other up. You're not sure what's happening in that whirlwind. And you've got Arthur pinning the arms just for a second of Valdoc.
Where is the metronome in the in the room?
Flying around Tink's head trying to land a fatal blow.
I want to try to grab it and use it to bludgeon Valdoc.
Okay. It is very strong. And its blade is like scissors. So as you grab it, it will cut through your hand with its metronome thing. You can do this.
I want to do it.
It will cost you... Okay. Roll.
Yeah.
Against strength.
Strength, that is... I rolled a 9 against my 6. So I will decrease my virtue by 1. So it is now 2.
You have it in your hand. Please make a strength roll to see if you hit Valdoc with the metronome in rhythm or off rhythm.
Okay. I rolled an 11 against my 6, so I will decrease my strength by 1 to make it a 5.
Okay. And then you can choose. Did you, because you succeeded everything you try to do in this game, did you hit in rhythm or off rhythm as you try to beat?
Yeah, I hit Valdoc in rhythm with the metronome.
Okay, good. It doesn't attack you.
On his forehead. Yeah, I'm aiming for his temple.
Sweet justice.
Yeah.
As Valdoc receives a blow, not from the metronome necessarily, but from you, right? Of the metronome. Okay, Arthur, it's your turn. Something just came really close to your head and beat up the person that you're grappling with.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't succeed at this strength, or if you don't make a strength roll for this purpose, Valdoc will be free.
Okay. Baldoc's free. Roll the 17. So my
Well,
strength goes
are you
from...
trying to keep... If you don't spend your turn keeping Valdoc
Right.
restrained, Valdoc will be free. Right, that's the...
Okay. So, I have a plan, actually. So, I'm still got the grip, but Baldock kind of, like, manages to, like, break free and kind of sends me flying back. And I land on the floor next to the hilt of the sword where the writing is. I can just see the writing as I land on the floor. And the writing is...
The writing is different on the two swords. Only your sword has writing that makes sense. The other sword has a bunch of gobbledygook because whoever made this didn't speak the ancient language. And what you see is the swords don't match.
Okay.
But you don't speak that language. It's old.
Okay. So can I grab the sword quickly and kind of as safely as possible throw it to Tink?
Your sword or Valdoc's sword?
Your sword, the original king sword, yes.
All right. Arthur throws Arthur's own sword to Tink.
Tink catches and immediately takes out the scroll of ancient tongues and tries to interpret what is on the sword here.
In 1 second. First, Barnabas, it's your turn. You have been saved from being whirled around like semaphore flags. Whee!
Yeah, I want to run over by Valdoc and using the metal head of Lance, of my own spear tip, kind of like tink out an off rhythm little pattern on Valdoc's sword to try and get the metronome to go flying at him.
So you are tapping off rhythm on something near this metronome?
Specifically on Valdoc. I think the only thing that's been established that he has that's metal is the sword that he's trying to wield.
More semaphore flags as the metronome tries to beat you to death because you produced an off rhythm.
Oh, I'm trying to. I don't mind if it's chasing me, but as I'm running around, I'm like, "You're supposed to go after Valdoc. You're supposed to go after Valdoc."
Slip the Muppets. So Varek, it's out of your hand as it flew towards Barnabas to beat them in the temple because they were being off rhythm.
I missed it. Did it do any damage to him when he got hit by the metronome?
Yeah, being hit in the head by a metal thing, it hurts. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you definitely did some damage. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I was wrong. Varek, it did absolutely no damage. Like Superman eyeball bullet. The metronome did nothing to Valdoc.
Okay, dang.
Tink, where do you?
Tink just takes out the scroll of ancient tongues and tries to read what's on the sword. Oh,
excellent. You read two different things. Oh, yeah, roll first.
Okay. 5, yes. So, no damage. No damage. And I read the swords, yes.
You know with your imperfect magical artifact that although you can read ancient languages, the interpretation is always a bit mixed. So you're not sure if this says keep perfect time or else, or if it says a great ruler is always in time. But that's what the sword maybe says.
Keep perfect
time. And on the
time.
back side it says true strength belongs to those with good rhythm. That one's just... No, I'm just kidding.
All right. And Tink starts to think as he looks over all of this, all while listening to the rhythm of the metronome and thinking about maybe we should duck every time we hear it clink. Something like that. He's just starts to rock back and forth as he's reading this in time. And is there something else I can do here in the same one? Can I do one more thing, or is it another person's turn now?
I think turn order, yeah, that was a good turn. You read the sword.
Okay, perfect.
And it was said a true king is in perfect time. Okay. Varek, where to you?
Okay. Yeah.
Valdoc was not injured at all by you attempting to hurt them.
That son of a gun. All right. So I want to hold up my daggers and I actually want to try to talk to him. my turn, because I think to myself, I can't damage him. I don't know how to stop him. So at the very least, maybe if I can get some kind of information that would be able to help us. So I hold up my daggers and I ask him, why are you doing this? Why have you posed as a fake king from the future? Why do any of this? What is your goals for your ploys here?
Make a roll.
So this would be a virtue. That's a 5 against my 2. I'm going to take another 1 off my strength to make it a 4.
Ooh.
I'm almost in dire straits.
And because in this game you succeed at everything you try to do, I'd say he answers you, and he says, Orin was intrigued when King Grosvenor said that a researcher had told him that the Metronome of Madrigal was here, forgotten in a storage closet. But King Grosvenor didn't know how to work it. Unlimited strength and power could be yours if you knew how to activate this metronome. For the cost of the energy of one life, to have a short time period of unlimited strength, now that is an item worth figuring out how it worked. And so we did. King Grosvenor was so useful.
So I turn to my group mates and I tell them, so guys, during the heat of the battle, I think he killed those 4 people in order to store up energy in the metronome. So if we keep him busy long enough, then maybe that it will run out of power, and then we can just kill him like normal, is my guess of the situation.
Barnabas being chased by the metronome as he's running in circles, flailing his arms behind him. How long's this thing supposed to last?
You're running around and around the harpsichord, around and around and around and around.
Say as long as it takes. So I think, that was my turn. That was the information I was hoping to gain.
Arthur, do you continue to spend your turn to pin the arms of Valdok to his sides?
Yeah. Arthur's obviously clambered back up onto his feet now. So I'm going to roll a strength check. Eek. 8. Which is... and I've got a 6 left on the strength. So...
you can't hold him forever.
Yeah. He steps in to grab, but obviously he's been hammered by headbutts again. He notices that Tink is moving in rhythm with the metronome. So every time with his android hearing, when he hears the metronome click, he gives an extra squeeze in tandem with the metronome.
All right. As long as you're spending your turn restraining Valdok, then you do, because you succeed at everything you do. And you said you reduced your strength by 1. So that means that, there's only so much longer that you guys can hold out. And it's to Barnabas. It's your turn. The metronome, you've stopped producing an off-rhythm bit of sound, so I think it settles, comes to a rest on the harpsichord.
If I am no longer being chased, then I want to go to the harpsichord and plunk it in time with the metronome, and it's swinging. I want to see if I can sync up with it, and then maybe try and shift it into a slower beat. So syncing first.
Make a dexterity roll, which is strength, which is all of your physical traits.
That 12 is above my 2, so I will succeed at a cost.
You're down to 1. You're down to 1.
I will go down to 1. I'm in
cow.
dire straits.
Lance, help! What does Lance say to you in this moment?
What does Lance say in this moment?
The moment that is the end, the final turn of the game.
I think Lance, again, the googly eyes, there's a sheen that passes across them, and they shift from googly eyes to something much more akin to to human clear eyes. And he's going to say, all things happen in due time, and make that reference before the eyes shift back again.
Okay. As you play on the harpsichord, with each in-beat note that you play, which, good job. You can play the harpsichord. The strength in Valdoc decreases and the invincibility decreases until you are the one being powered by the ticking of the metronome. The control of the artifact has shifted to the person playing excellent in-time music. It's no longer beating you about the head, which wasn't very effective on a felt puppet. And perhaps because of your unique physiology, you survived the attack by the ancient artifact of Castle Madrigal. Okay, so we have a temporarily still invincible Valdoc. We have an Arthur who, how many strength do you have left? How much longer can you hold?
I've got 5 strength left.
Yeah. So as time passes, this guy's gonna break free. We have probably 4 rolls left. So I'm gonna just say that it takes some time to play this music, and as Arthur's strength slowly rolls down and down and down, what do you all see happening as the conclusion of this fight?
Well, I mean, eventually the invincibility wears off on Valdoc, so I would assume whenever that happens, we would then make our final attack on him to kill him.
Varek is going to kill the person that he trained with, the person from the Nightborn Syndicate that he could potentially be the ruler of, the heir to. This could be your subordinate who was here following orders from Orin to claim and sell this, very valuable artifact. Okay. All right. You are going to kill him, you say.
That sounds great to me.
All right. So, Arthur, you're holding on, and it's tough because this Valdoc is super strong, and it is so tough. And standing behind you, sneaking from the shadows, Varek comes, and Valdoc sees him, and he says to Arthur, he says, Don't trust him. As Varek sinks a dagger between the shoulder blades of Valdoc, and he dies in your arms, Arthur, as the invincibility transfers to Sir Barnabas. Tick, tick, tick.
I think as the dagger hits, I would like to do the stinger and go bum, bum, bum.
Also, I'm still squeezing with all my strength as the invincibility and strength leaves him, so it just kind of like folds him in half almost. Just absolutely crushes him in the center inadvertently. So it's a bit of insult to injury for the death of the assassin.
We are left with 1 harpsichord, 2 swords, 1 dead, no one would recognize him as the king, an assassin standing over the corpse with a knife, a murder bot standing over the folded corpse with very creaky arms. I'm going to say one of your arms takes a injury from that. So you're injured going forward into your next game because you used all of your strength for so long there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
I am curious about something. Part of Varek's character is no one from the Syndicate knows where he is. And with Valdoc showing his face, that kind of makes Varek fearful that maybe the Syndicate doesn't know where he is. So can Varek search his room to see if there's any correspondence or any clues as to did Valdoc send out a message to someone to the Syndicate for reinforcements, or just to let him know where Varek is, mainly for Varek's character?
You see a recently departed station. You see a station for a recently departing homing pigeon that has recently left. You see food for a homing pigeon. You see a cage for a homing pigeon. It's still kind of like the food is fresh, the water's fresh. The homing pigeon was just here. The homing pigeon is no longer here, and there's a small station for writing notes to attach to homing pigeon legs. And you feel like this homing pigeon was sent to the Nightborn Syndicate to say, hey, Varek was here, saw him tonight in my castle, fed him lots of swan.
Dang it.
Could I also possibly investigate the previous king's quarters, King's Grosvenor, since he was part of this corporation that...
Previous king's corpse?
Quarters?
Quarters.
Quarters, bedroom, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're in them, actually, right now.
Oh, okay.
Sorry to not clarify. These are the king's quarters.
No. Ah, the general king's quarters. Oh, yeah. Makes sense. So can I do an investigation to see if there's any information on this corporation? Does that still mean a roll, does it? Or does he have information on other members of the corporation, locations, things to,
Yes. Okay, do a roll. Yes.
4. And I'll
For your virtue.
take that. Yeah, for the virtue, yes. Is a 4.
You find a list that says Shadow Reapers birthday gifts at the top of it. And you see a bunch of names and presents that this person who put this note in this drawer was intending to get all of these people. The names, there are 13 Shadow Reapers. You see things ranging from toffee to fuzzy socks. And there are 13 names.
Ooh. I've got a present for them. Awesome. Thank you. Thanks.
And speaking of presents, Tink is going to go over to Barnabas here and offer 1 point of strength since he's in dire straits. And Tink is going to be 7 in strength to give to Barnabas. Right?
Barnabas actually will have a gift for you, Tink. Barnabas is going to stop playing the harpsichord. Perhaps the metronome comes to a stop, and then is going to grab that and hand that to Tink and say,
I think Professor Graymore might be particularly interested in this little doodad.
Yes. Tink is going to take it with a gloved hand, just in case, and put it into his shell of pocket full of shells. No, it's just it's a pocket in a shell, rather.
The day dawns and the first servant comes into the king's quarters to wake up the king. Gasp! What do you say to this startled servant?
The king is dead. Long live the king.
Nothing to see here. Move along.
The king is dead? Who is that? And they point to the unrecognizable form crumpled on the floor with a knife wound in their back.
Oh, yeah. King Emilio said because the new King Arthur has drawn the sword, he's like, I must go now and return to my people. So we won't see him anymore because he disappeared. And this is a random assassin that tried to assassinate the new king. They move fast. You got to be careful.
Thank goodness the new king isn't assassinated. Thank you, King from the future, for being our stand-in. We love King Emilio. We love King Emilio. All right, that's how we're going to wrap up the story. They'll never expose King Emilio. Perfect. All right, let me read you guys some potential endings. Yay, the adventure's over. Here's the potential endings. 1, the poisoned apples. The rest of the apples are also poisoned. If the players didn't remove the barrel of poisoned apples from the food supply, then about a month from now, 6 people would die when the apples are sliced, baked, and served to the castle residents in the form of apple pie. If the players did tell the castle chefs about the barrel of poisoned apples, then they have saved 6 lives. How do you guys feel about that?
Well,
We're the heroes.
well, we never did anything with the apples.
I
so
think
I
We told,
guess
we
they're
told
dead.
the chef. We told the chef.
Yeah, no, you
We
told the chef.
We did?
And
Oh,
you
okay.
and you were like poisoned in front of the staff as well. So, so
Yeah, I guess I didn't pick it up. Yeah.
You saved 6 lives. 2nd out of 3. Actually, I'll do this one. Okay. The Imposter King's rule. The Imposter King was killing 1 person each full moon, or more, covering up the murders as werewolf attacks. He was storing the strength taken from their murder by Castle Madrigal's metronome artifact from its victims in the metronome, and then using that strength for the Nightborn Syndicate's own nefarious purposes. Without the fire-breathing kitten's intervention, he would have continued to invite 1 musical servant to play for him each month until there were none left in the castle. By deposing the fake king from an age yet to come, they have saved each of the servants who would have been his future victims. Also, without the fire-breathing kitten's intervention, the imposter king would have figured out that the researcher, Professor Graymore, was the person responsible for calling the temple's investigator to come interfere, and would have exacted retribution upon her. If the players toppled the imposter king from his throne, then Professor Shelton and friends will have saved his colleague Professor Graymore's life.
Hooray!
Huzzah!
Huzzah, indeed.
Now the question is at hand. What to do with the public's knowledge of the artifact? Lady Greymore is due to write a manuscript, one of her many dissertations, and to give a report on the Metronome artifact. What she says depends on how much the players discover and how much they tell her and want her to say. This is an ancient, secret artifact. How it works is not widely known. How much the world knows depends on what the fire-breathing kittens discovered. Does the world know about the artifact's enduring existence still in the current age? Where it is here in Madrigal Castle? How to use it by setting it on an instrument and a person playing out of rhythm, which activates the artifact to beat them to death and store their strength? Doesn't work on puppets. What it can do to grant its... Say, Barnabas, you were immune. Just kind of like waved you like a semaphore. What it can do to grant its user a Superman-like invulnerability and super strength, and that the artifact's user activates it by swinging the metronome to go tick, 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 granting the user its gifts for the duration of its timekeeping. Which of these details do you reveal to Professor Greymore? I want, who wants to roleplay as Professor Greymore, and then Tink, let's have a conversation to wind up the game. So, who wants to roleplay as Professor Greymore? Arthur.
Oh, I'll give it a go. Yes. Yep.
Arthur, you are Professor Greymore, and you love artifacts. In fact, you're certain that there's one here in this castle. You told the previous king, but he died in his sleep. So what can you do? Just keep telling the kings, I guess. Just keep telling them.
Yeah. Tink, so good to see you. Have you had any luck finding that metronome? I'm sure there's something very special about it.
We had a roundabout and did lots of looking throughout the castle, and we know that sure it is here, and we're not sure exactly of anything else about it. So we can only say that the artifact exists. We have proof of that, but how it works we don't know yet.
So you're saying it's still in the castle waiting to be discovered?
It's still waiting to actually be discovered. So, yes, that's the story. It should, if we find it, we should lock it behind a glass case, or put it in a magical case of some sort, so it can never be opened ever again. So, look, what is this? Tink presents it and goes, but we don't know anything about it. It needs to go into a magical case.
Can I touch it?
I don't recommend it. I hear if you're not wearing gloves, it is poisoned. And I'm wearing gloves.
Ooh. Oh. I feel almost like disappointed. It's so close and I can't do anything.
Magical glass case, of course. It needs to go in it. We just know that it's very, very dangerous. Don't touch it. There's no antidote. And, yes, you must be protected with special gloves. Like mine. Exactly like mine.
Oh, all right.
You could write about it. Say a couple of things. Look how beautiful it is. But that's all we know. It's very heavy, in fact.
I can write it, but just can't touch it.
Certainly you can look at it for a moment, but don't stare too long. I hear your eyes might burn out. Yes.
Well, I need them for finding things. Other artifacts.
Exactly. Don't stare at it too long.
Okay then.
Perfect. And then that's all I got.
This concludes our adventure. Professor Greymore, alive, staring wistfully into the case. Maybe she'll play it a song. Tink, having frustrated his friend. And Barnabas went through the spin cycle.
Yeah.
And Varek, they know where you are now. Joining us were Varek.
This was a lot of fun.
Arthur. Oh, King. Arthur, King of Castle Madrigal.
Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate the King moniker, though I feel the call of travel and will probably not be bearing it for long.
Tink.
It was lovely finding things with everyone. And remember, stay away from apples that you don't know.
And Barnabas.
I shall linger around Castle Madrigal long enough to see that Sir Kay is properly laid to rest.
And you feel like as you lower Sir Kay down into the ground of this blessed cemetery outside of the castle, the short grass extending over the hills and the gray sky overhead, that you feel a light from above shining down upon you. The end!